The Leatherman Kick. This was actually my first ever Leatherman multi-tool. I've had this thing for about, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. Honestly, it's a great multi-tool. Before I got this multi-tool, you know, this is my first good knife actually, not just my first Leatherman. It's my first quality knife. This is basically where my collection started. Before this, I was just getting the cheap multi-tools from China, you know, the ones that cost less than £10. This is the one that started them all for me. Once I got this Leatherman, I didn't really look back. I don't think I bought another, you know, cheap, low-end, budget, whatever, multi-tool since I bought this Leatherman Kick. And I dare say I've had a lot of fun with it. It's still in really good condition. I've not really used it too much, but I have given it some pocket time. More than most of my other Leathermans. Most of them don't get used, it's just in the collection. Actually, my most used Leatherman is probably my Leatherman Juice. That's because I can legally carry it. But that's one thing I quite like about this Leatherman Kick as well, is this is actually one of the only full-size Leathermans that exist that don't have a lock. Now there are a few others, and I suppose you could argue which ones you can count as full size. I believe Leatherman considers this one a full size. The only other Leatherman like this that I have that doesn't lock is the Leatherman PST. I absolutely love the PST as well. Not that I've ever used it. I bought that one second hand and that went straight into the cabinet. But this Leatherman Kick is a good little multi-tool. It's probably one of the most simple multi-tools as well. Doesn't really have that many tools on it. It just has, you know, these standard Leatherman pliers. These are the ones that's on most Leathermans. I believe this is the exact same pliers that's on the Wave. It's the same ones that's on the Blast, the Fuse. The rebar has different pliers. Only has a few tools on it. If I'm not mistaken, I believe these Leathermans are actually kind of having a comeback. What I mean is, with this being a full-size Leatherman that actually doesn't have a lock, well, I could legally carry it. Unlike the rebar, which is the most up-to-date of this line of Leathermans, you know, the rebar has locks on them, so unfortunately us in the UK, we're missing out a lot. We can't carry them. You know, there is a Leatherman for the UK market, that's the Leatherman Juice. You know, a lot of us love them, these are great. But you know what, these Leathermans, they just feel so much greater than the Juice. Don't get me wrong, I love the Juice. I only own one, that's this one here. But, you know, these style Leathermans, they have a much nicer feel in the hand. They just feel more useful. They feel stronger. I don't know what it is. You know, they're all Leathermans. You know, this is just as good as that. But I just like these more. They just look better. They feel better. And it's, you know, it's bigger. You know, there's a fair bit difference in size, although you do get a lot more tools on these. Then again, depending on which model you get. This one's the Juice CS4. Almost perfect for what I'm using it for. Anyway, enough of that. Let's have a look at the tool set on this Leatherman. So, it has the standard Leatherman bottle opener, can opener, with the wire stripper. Has anyone ever used these? I've never found a use for it. I know it's obviously for stripping wires, but I've never once heard of anyone use these. The wire stripper. Now these actually are great can openers. Probably just as good as Victorinox. You know what? I take that back. To me, Victorinox is just better, but almost as good as Victorinox. I have used these can openers quite a lot. Me being the Scotsman that I am, I like to eat a lot of haggis, and well, it comes in a can. So usually this or a Victorinox. Next to the can opener, we have this Phillips head screwdriver. Now these are actually very good screwdrivers. Now, one thing I'll say about this that most people probably don't realise is, you know those, I don't know the correct name, but the thing for, you put it on a drill to extend it. Well, anyway, you could put one of those on here, and you could put an actual screwdriver bit on it. You know, the screwdriver bit that fits on multiple screwdrivers, that's what I'm talking about. You can actually fit those on this multi-tool, on this screwdriver if you find one. Most of us probably have them laying around. It's honestly quite handy, because you can have as many different screwdrivers as you want with this one screwdriver. I've never really seen anyone mention that, and that applies to all the Leathermans with the screwdriver. I've just noticed that I have actually got a bit of rust on this tool. I'm not sure how, because I've barely used it. And one thing I've noticed about this Leatherman is on this rivet, it's kind of got a hole. None of the other rivets have that. I find that very strange. None of my other Leathermans seem to have that either. See, here we have the fuse. The rivets don't, well, I say rivets, they're actually not rivets, they're actually screws. But the screws, there's just this one screw on this Leatherman that has that hole there. That's puzzled me for years. I'd really like to know why that is. Anyway. Also the lanyard, the lanyard ring, that's something I quite like to have on my multi-tools. Honestly, a lanyard ring of some description, a bail, a keyring, whatever, to me that should be a standard on all multi-tools and pocket knives. It just makes the tool more functional, and it makes it harder to lose it if you wish to attach a piece of cord onto it. And we'll have two flathead screwdrivers here, a larger one and a smaller one. You know, that's something I've noticed as a standard on nearly every single Leatherman. They all have 3 screwdrivers. Most of them have 3 screwdrivers. Some of them have more, like, the Wave has about 4. And the last tool is obviously the knife blade, the most exciting tool. Now, as you can see, it doesn't have a lock. It's just an extended piece of metal, effectively. For what it's worth, it's a slip joint. It technically is a slip joint because a slip joint uses a tension bar, and you could argue this is a tension bar. So if you're able to find one of these, you know, they're definitely worth buying because, like I said, you can legally carry them. Oh yeah, I forgot, it also has the ruler on the side. Now just compare it here to the Leatherman fuse. Very similar in size, although the Leatherman fuse has more tools and it has a lock. Now I may be mistaken, but I think the line for these Leathermans goes the kick, the fuse, then the blast, then the rebar, but I'm not entirely sure. I do have a blast and a rebar, but it's not really worth comparing them right now. Maybe I'll do that another day. I know a lot of other YouTubers have already. But both of these Leathermans are actually discontinued, so I'm quite glad to have them. I don't know if they're worth anything being discontinued, but it's nice to have them in the collection. I'd like to get a lot more of these Leathermans in my collection. One I'd quite like to get would be the Flare. That's a very interesting Leatherman. I think that one's actually rare. You don't really see that one that often. Usually when someone sells them, they want around £100 for them. So must be worth something to someone. So anyway, Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video on the Leatherman kick. If you enjoyed this, please comment, rate and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers.